everyone. Welcome back to Drag Me with me, Legion Miller, your lost bisexual friend who doesn't know what she's talking about. It is another scorcher out today. It's 8 a.m. and I'm already sweating like a pig, so tuck in. I was not built for this summertime. I'm a Minnesota girl. I like being cold. But that's neither here nor there. Let's talk about this episode. We're at All-Star 7, Episode 5, Draguation Speeches. First, I'd like to just acknowledge the outfit that 𝗏 came out in right at the beginning of the episode when he was telling the queens what was about to go down. Like, what kind of gay pirate monstrosity was happening here? Usually I'm all for his quirky styles, but something about the pants and the boots looks like just a really bad costume. And I know calling someone's outfit costumey is like the biggest dig on this show, so I'm gonna say it. 𝗏, costumey. Odd choice, but you know what? God bless. Really living his truth. Okay, so the queens were tasked with giving graduation speeches. So the idea was that they were supposed to be a little bit funny, but also kind of inspirational, I guess. And then the twist on this episode was that the winners got 2 stars each, and then they're going to give away one of those stars. And then, of course, the episode ends before they hand them out, so it's a real cliffhanger for next week. Okay, and then the drama was that Monet, who was just blocked, was given the chance to put people in the order in which they are going to be presenting their Draguation speeches, which is always crucial and a big sticking point because from what I've gathered, queens tend to be rather superstitious about how things are going to go. If you go first, you have to open. I mean, that's not really a superstition, I guess. If you go first, there is a lot of pressure to like open the show in a well done, entertaining manner. And if you fall flat, it kind of sets the tone for the rest of the show. And then if you're the last one, you fall flat. It can also be an awkward ending. But like, you're either going to do well or you're going to do bad, and where you show up on the list is not necessarily going to be outcome determinative of that. So there was some drama there, and then of course Monet put 𝗏 last because 𝗏 was the one who blocked her last week. So obviously she had to get her comeuppance, which is probably why 𝗏 chose her to be the one to pick the order anyway, because we got to infuse drama from every side. Because frankly, let me just say this. Let me just do an aside. I gotta say, I miss the drama of a regular RuPaul's Drag Race season. Okay, this is all feeling a little too like, we love everyone. Let's not critique anyone. Everyone's doing great. No one gets a villain at it. Like, it's a little too kumbaya for me. Frankly, it's fun to watch these queens compete because they're at the top of their game. But like, I'm usually tuning into reality TV for the trash of it. You know what I mean? This season's not trashy enough for me. But I digress. And then they go on and they have their kind of rehearsals in front of Carson Kressley and Nikki Glazer, where all of the queens have these kind of weirdly deep, like, confessional moments. Some of them are crying. And then Jinx comes on and is like, let me tell you about that one time I got a condom stuck up inside my butthole. Which I enjoyed because it was kind of weird. It was like jarring to all of a sudden have these queens like sharing these deeply personal stories, because that wasn't the vibe I was getting at first. I don't know what vibe I was getting, but I wasn't getting the like, now I'm going to tell my deepest, darkest secret on national television vibes. Not that anyone necessarily told their deepest, darkest secret possibly, but you know, it was a sob moment that felt, again, a little manufactured. I feel like I've been saying this a lot with this season. I mean, it's a show, it's reality TV. That's partially how it works. But I've also just been feeling things have been manufactured to add any interest at all, because apparently we're not allowed to criticize the queens in any actual way this season. We just have to throw in some fake drama to keep the story going. I don't know. I didn't sleep very well last night. I'm feeling a little spicy today, so I might also just have a bad attitude. Also, this workshopping montage, like nothing about it was funny. None of the jokes landed for me. And I don't know if that was intentional, where they were trying to kind of build up anticipation, like, wow, are they going to bomb or something? But nothing. I had very low expectations going into this because it felt like, is this going to be comedy or just sob stories? And then Raja comes in and is like telling some really painful jokes. And then she says the thing that I've heard other queens say, where she's like, I don't care. I'm going to do it anyway. They don't think it's funny. I don't care. Which, I don't know, seems like a bad idea most of the time, but she ran with it, and that's fine. God bless. She knows herself. She knows what she wants. And then to continue the kind of almost fake feeling storyline, we have Jinx and the Vivian are apparently kind of feuding over what I don't really know. This is news to me. They didn't really build it into the storyline. Like, I don't know what they're fighting about other than that one blocked the other once. Or did they both block each other at some point? I don't know. Either way, seems fake. Everything in this season feels manufactured. Sorry. I'm still loving the fashions, but I don't know. I miss back when Cornbread genuinely disliked Jasmine Kennedy. That was fun for me. All right, so that's the buildup. Then we finally get to the Draguation speeches. And I must say, despite a very lackluster rehearsal montage, I did enjoy the Draguation speeches overall. I thought Monet opening did a really great job. I loved her robes because they were kind of like an interpretation of a robe, a structural moment, if you will. And even with the wardrobe malfunction, her comb falling out of her hair, it still worked. I still was entertained, and I think she did a good job balancing the humor with the kind of more touching cliche aspect of the assignment. Shay made some John Hughes shade, which was funny, and she had kind of a cliche speech, but like, you know, it was touching. It was like genuinely delivered, if a little bit cliche. I did love her outfit though, the kind of like little black coverings here and then the off the shoulder moment gown thing. That was beautiful. Trinity, blue and pink, never my favorite combo of colors, but she's all like glamorous and shiny, and that's lovely. She had a funny moment with her hooked on phonics joke. I felt like the judges were laughing a lot harder at all these jokes than I was. And you know, I feel like that happens in like stand-up specials where if you're in the crowd, there's a different type of energy and you're laughing more than you would be if you're sitting at home watching it. And maybe that's what's happening here, but it really felt like, man, were they editing in a lot of laugh tracks to these kind of lackluster speeches. Okay, and then Raja was up next. Honestly, I was surprised at how well her speech went, given that she had said, I don't care, I think I'm funny, I'm not going to listen to what they tell me to do. I think that leaning into a character was a funny thing for her to have done. She seemed to have gotten kind of goofy with it in a way that I don't feel like I've seen Raja do a lot of in this season. I feel like a lot of these kind of beauty queens are a little bit afraid of being seen as goofy or not beautiful. And so getting a little bit goofier and seeing her goofier side, I thought was really nice. Again, though, the editing, the laugh tracks, the amount of laughter that they were giving her, I didn't feel that way at home, but I don't know. What do I know? Jada, she looks amazing. Absolutely gorgeous. Very kind of traditional looking robes. They kind of look like law robes, honestly, but just like beautiful execution of kind of a dragged up graduation ceremony robe. I thought she was funny. I think she's goofy. I think she does comedy well. Again, the addition of the really sentimental pieces in these speeches, I didn't need it. I'm just here to get entertained. I want more of a stand-up comedy routine. I know that seeing a deeper side of these queens helps us to relate to them more, which, you know, benefits the franchise, but I don't know. I didn't need it. Again, I'm feeling really salty today, so I feel like maybe my review is getting skewed a little bit, and if so, I'm very sorry. Some days you just have off days, you know what I mean? Okay, then Yvie comes in with some physical comedy. She falls over. She's got these robes that are just like written all over and drawn all over. I really like it. I love the wig. I think she pulled it off, and I think that the robe feels like, you know, a yearbook. Like when people write in your yearbook, it feels like the outfit embodiment of a class yearbook, which is a fun idea. She had some self-deprecation, but then I did like the message of her speech, you know, failing, accepting failure, embracing failure. I think it's a good idea. I think it's a nice mentality. Her speech felt like it came from a really genuine place, so I enjoyed her speech. I felt it was kind of the most genuine out of the bunch. Okay, Jinx knocked it out of the park once again. Her robe was great. The idea of being a witch at the wrong graduation ceremony was genuinely funny. The story about getting hit by a car while her joint just gets knocked out of her hand, like that is some high level comedy. Like, she is a professional. She could probably just do stand-up tours without the drag element and be really good at that. It was well done. I think she hit on the more deep touching points that they wanted them to hit on without overdoing it or feeling too cliche. I was entertained, and I think that's what I was there for. I wanted to laugh and be entertained, and Jinx was really the only one that really delivered that for me. I liked Evie as well, but I don't know, Jinx's worked for me. I also loved the purple eyeshadow. Gorgeous. And I gotta say, I know I'm doing a lot of hating on Viv, but Viv drunk, still not funny. Still not funny. Yeah, she maintained the character the whole time. That's great. I don't know. I feel like a drunk voice for me rarely makes me laugh. I don't know if it's overdone or if it just feels over the top, or maybe I just like more subtle comedy, and that's not to say like higher brow comedy at all. I just mean like, I don't know, a drunk voice over drunkenness as the main shtick of your comedy doesn't really work for me. The fall at the end, I don't know. I don't know what it is about the Viv. A lot of people like her. That's totally valid. I just like, she is just not working for me across the board this season. And I didn't see her UK season, so. But yeah, it's just, I don't know what it is about her, but it's just not working for me. So, you know, if there really is a frenemy situation happening between Jinx and the Viv, we all know which side I'm on. Just saying. Okay, and then we get to the runway, which are quickly becoming my favorite parts of all these episodes because, again, I don't know, this season just feels kind of overly produced and like people aren't being mean enough to each other. Sorry. Okay, and the runway category is veiled it. And I think we had some fun interpretations of the veil. First up, we had Monet Exchange, and she's got this kind of like bird cage over her head thing, feathers, a real kind of, again, with the hip detailing, the hip, you know, the part that makes the hip look bigger. We've seen this multiple times in this season, and I comment on it every time because I think it's so fun. And I love the feathery look of this, the blue with kind of the different colors on the chest. It just works from head to toe and is really cohesive and a really interesting interpretation of the idea of a veil. This really worked for me. I liked it. I think I maybe would have wanted more of a sleeve, but even the cap, I don't like a cap sleeve just generally, probably because they make me really sweaty, weirdly. But so I'm probably just biased on that. But the caps almost kind of look like tiny little wings. So maybe that was the point of that. It's cute. It's a great look. Altogether, I really love it. Next up, Shea Coulee. I feel like a lot of Shea's outfits are very couture in a way that I don't really understand because I'm not a fashion lady. Okay. This, however, ooh, I loved it. The movement of the fabrics, the different lengths of the fabrics, the veil over her face that kind of comes all the way down, the jacket that she's wearing that's just buttoned at the top, and the color scheme and the giant wrist jewelry, the hat, it all works for me. I totally get the concept, but it's very elevated. And it's like the definition of like veils in that it is movement, it is draping, it's gorgeous. This really worked for me. And the veil, I love that it covers her face. I love that element of mystery. Even that cutout of the pant is very like in right now, even in like basic leggings that you see TikTokers wear, you know, the kids on TikTok, which I'm on TikTok, by the way, you should go on over there. We just hit 30,000 followers. How fun. Anyway, the pant shape, very in and of the moment, but the fabric makes it drape and sway as she walks. I don't know. This was elegant for me. This was elevated in a way that I don't think any of the other girls on this runway did tonight. And I feel like Shea's been bringing that over and over again, this kind of couture elevated type of fashion. And a lot of times if you've been listening to me talk about this all season, a lot of times I don't get it, frankly, but this one, love it. All right. And then we got Trinity the Tuck again in red. Maybe I'm just getting bored of the red. Maybe I'm feeling salty today. It's fine. It's very pretty. The long train is absolutely gorgeous with all of the flowers weighing it down. I think is absolutely lovely. Again, with the kind of hip adornments, the puffy sleeves, you know, I love a structural shoulder moment. It's great. I think I'm just getting bored of seeing her in red. She does have some good gloves on though. And you know, I'm a sucker for gloves. I don't know. It's a beautiful look. I'm just bored, which isn't fair because clearly like so much work went into this. I love the concept of like being a red flower girl, throwing the flowers on the runway. Very clever. I mean, she looks gorgeous. It's just, I think I'm just bored. All right, and then we have Raja coming out on this magazine cover inspired, very kind of 3D structural moment. If anyone is a structural queen this season for me, it's Raja, obviously. And given the fact that she is known for being a fashion queen, like this is really perfect. I love all the drapery. I love the train. The shape for me is a little muddy. Like, I'm not really sure what's happening. It doesn't feel super cohesive. The shape of the actual dress, not of, the square magazine on her back, but the shape of the actual dress, I don't really get what's happening there. And the blue of her gloves and her shoes, I'm not into that color blue. But that's just me. That's personal preference. I love the concept. I love the veil over her face, how it kind of has this very tall, sculptural thing going on. It's a very cohesive look. I think it's just the shape of the dress that's really throwing me off. It's just kind of like blobbish. Doesn't really make sense. Okay, Jaida Essence Hall then comes out in this kind of like widow haunting the graveyard in mourning, spooky, encased in sheer fabric moment. I love the height of it. I think it's really cool. The shape is confusing to me. I don't understand why it's just binding around her thighs. Not sure what the point of that was. I'm not a fan of polka dots, and that's kind of what's happening here, but it's beautiful. I love the concept. I'm a sucker for spooky shit. This definitely works for me. I love the sleeves. I love the headpiece thing, but the shape, again, still not really working for me here. All right, and then we have 𝗬𝗢𝗏𝗡𝗏. I loved this. The beading was gorgeous. It looked heavy in like a really cool way. Again, the draping, very cool. Love the patterns, very complex. Clearly, probably took a lot of time and skill to make. I don't know who made this. The whole headpiece, it's gorgeous. The beads draping over her. Again, a really interesting interpretation of the idea of a veil to make it like draped beads, but it still really works. It still gets the concept in a very unique way. I think it's gorgeous. And then we have Jinkx, again, knocking it out of the park. I was like, ooh, when she turned and the veil being kind of held up, it looks like, at least, by these butterflies trailing behind her. She looks like a Disney princess. She looks goddess-like. I love the bell sleeves. I love the flowers coming out of the neckline. Even her hair color. I don't know what it is. It's growing on me. I hated it at first. It's growing on me somehow. She just looks very ethereal in this in a beautiful way. Even her body shape is just, I think with the strong shoulder, it works for me. She's gorgeous. I loved this. And I just loved the veil being carried behind her. I loved that concept. I loved how it moved with her. It just felt like she was gliding. Ooh, I loved this one. And the veil in front of the face, the mystery, I just love it. And then the Vivienne. I don't know. I truly haven't just made the decision to dislike her. I'm truly trying to like her. There is nothing that I like about her this episode. Nothing works for me. The ball gag, it looks like she found one of those like party sachets, like the little gauzy sachets that you put like little candies in, party favors. It looks like she found a giant one of that and just put it over her head. The combination of BDSM with a veil, like, I guess it would be interesting if it was like a bride in BDSM, but like the blue, if this had been white with like black leather straps, maybe then that would be an interesting concept for me. But like all blue with nothing about it works for me. I don't like the shape. I don't even like the veil as it's over her head. Like it just, like nothing about it drapes right for me. And she's got these kind of like thin purple ropes going down, which like, I don't know what's happening there. Yeah, nothing about this worked for me. I don't like it. I'm trying to find something to like. I don't like it. I'm so sorry. I know she has so many fans and I don't have anything against her. I just consistently dislike what she's doing. Maybe the bottom part, the kind of mermaid part at the bottom. I don't know. It's a no for me, dog. Okay, and then Jinkx and Raja are declared the winners. I think it's deserved, certainly for Jinkx. Raja, I think they over-edited her Draguation speech a little bit, gave her a little more laughs than I think she probably actually got in the moment, certainly than she got for me. That being said, like, I think it worked. I don't think she did a bad job. I think it was an interesting, clever concept. I liked her outfit. I thought it was funny, kind of, like funnier than I was expecting, and it was certainly nice to see her goofy side, so I don't think it's an undeserved win. And I feel like a lot of the queens just kind of felt None of the queens other than Jinx, again, really stood out for me this episode. I could see maybe like Monet having one. I think she had a strong start to the Draguation speeches. I thought that her outfit was really clever and very well done. Evie, even, like, her graduation speech had some comedy in it. I think she did a good job. And then those beads and that outfit was gorgeous. But like, Raja's runway was really stunning, and she did a great job at the Draguation speech, so I think it was a well-deserved win. Okay, and then Jinx and Raja have a lip sync battle. Jinx brought it this time. Last time she did the lip sync battle, you'll remember I was kind of underwhelmed by her performance. Some of you commented saying that she maybe was mad or was holding back because who was she singing against? The Viv? Trinity the Tuck? I don't remember, but they were handed like an xylophone and were playing it by the other queens. So some people were theorizing that Jinx was annoyed by that and just wasn't giving it her all. I don't know, but she really brought it out this time. I thought she had a really funny lip sync performance. And Raja, you know, I hadn't seen her lip sync yet, and it was nice to see. She's got very long limbs. She's a very long, thin person, and she moves very smoothly in a way that's like nice to watch and lovely to see. Like, she has a pretty body. She's a very pretty person, but like, I didn't see anything particularly interesting in her lip sync. Like, it all kind of felt like one flat line. Whereas Jinx, I felt like brought the humor. I think she did a really great job with it. And then Jinx wins the episode, which I think was fair after that lip sync. And just generally, I think that she knocked it out of the park once again. And then she chooses to block the Vivienne, furthering this frenemy thing that apparently they have that I hadn't been picking up on. I don't think I would have picked the Vivienne, but that's because I don't really see her as a strong contender on this season because everything she does is unimpressive to me. Yikes. Listen, maybe they were told by the producers to play up this frenemy thing. Maybe it's kind of real. I get that they're both like comedy queens and they have a lot of overlapping talents, but like, Jinx's talents so far and away outweigh the Vivienne's talents to me that I don't really see why she sees her as a threat. You know what I mean? I'm just being mean today. You guys, I'm feeling salty. I'm feeling salty today generally. My cat has been an asshole. She's been waking me up at 4 a.m. every single day for 3 months, and it needs to stop. So I've been up for hours, and I'm sweaty because it's going to be hot today. I'm in a bad mood. But listen, like I said, I'm getting a little bored with this season, if I'm being really honest. I want the drama. I want more genuine competition. It just really feels like everyone's being really cordial to each other. Someone else commented that, like, you know, they're doing this because these are their winners, so they're not going to disparage people who have actually won the show, which I think makes perfect sense. I totally get it. I'm also kind of bored. All right, but that's just me. I am having fun with the fashions. I'm excited to see more fashions. Seeing each of these queens lip sync for the first time has been a real treat. The rest of it, I could kind of take or leave. You know what I mean? This was episode 5. We have 12 total episodes, so that means we have 7 left. I think part of the reason why it's dragging for me as well is that no one is getting eliminated. So we're just seeing the same 8 queens over and over and over again. And it's kind of fun in the larger seasons when there's like 14 of them to then be like, oh my gosh, there's only 7 left. Oh my gosh, there's only 5 left. Whoa, you know? And now it's just over and over again. But they're able to really display their talents this way. I get it, but man, honestly, I assume they're going to have to be throwing a lot of more kind of curveballs like this 2 stars but give 1 away thing going forward, because they probably know that it's getting a little monotonous and they're probably going to try to start shaking things up. So I'm excited to see what kind of facilitated drama unfolds in the coming weeks. All right, y'all. Well, that is my salty review of episode 5 of All Star 7. If you've been hearing the slight sound of snoring in the background this whole time, I'm so sorry. Moira has decided to sleep right behind me, and she is a snorty girl. To celebrate, though, why don't I bring her up here so you can see her? A nice palate cleanser after my salty episode. What a sleepy baby. You feeling hot? You hot potato? Beautiful girl. Thanks so much for watching and listening. Reminder that you can listen to this in podcast form anywhere you get your podcasts. See you next week. Have a great day. Bye-bye.